Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on The Serpent and the Pearl by Kate Quinn. The Serpent and the Pearl by Kate Quinn follows three unique narrators in 1492 Italy. First, Giulia Farnese, a young woman soon to be married, but discovers too late she is simply going to be pawned off to be the mistress of Cardinal Rodrigo Borgia. Second, Leonello, a dwarf who is trying to figure out who has been committing brutal murders towards young women. And third, Carmelina, a cook hiding a dark secret. Three characters who come from entirely different backgrounds, but united to help each other navigate the political court of Rome. You guys, this book, I freaking love this book. It is so good. It was everything I was hoping it would be. Like I said in the synopsis for this book, the book is told from the unique perspective of three very different characters, and I loved how Kate Quinn managed to weave these three characters, their stories, with one another. Because at the start of the book, you're introduced to the three characters. You don't quite see yet how they're eventually going to come together, and yeah, Kate Quinn just does a fantastic job of giving them these different stories, but tying them together in such an interesting and intriguing way that totally makes sense by the time you reach the end. And I just loved how Kate Quinn managed to put these three characters within the current political confines of that time period in Rome. And add on top of this, since this is 1492 and we got the Borgias running around at the time up to there planning and scheming and plotting, I was also very intrigued to see how the Borgias were going to weave their way into the story. And once again, Kate Quinn makes that work perfectly. The Borgias, they could have easily felt like cameo appearances in this book, but they're not. They serve a purpose, because a lot of times in historical fiction, when you have some fictional characters and then you incorporate some, real historical characters, sometimes the historical characters can often feel like cameos and it doesn't work. And yeah, Kate Quinn just does a fantastic job of making the Borgias, their appearance, work and matter, and how they tie in with these three characters, especially Leonello and Carmelina, since those are the two fictional characters, because Giulia Farnese was a real historical figure at the time. And speaking of Giulia Farnese, I really loved reading from her point of view. I think history has made Giulia Farnese, just given her this name as the Pope's whore. What a name to be labeled with down through history. But Giulia Farnese, once again, Kate Quinn just impressed me so much with her writing, making Giulia Farnese much, much more than just the Pope's whore. Giulia was an interesting character in her own right, her own great story, and you really get to see her grow and mature over the course of the novel. And another thing I think Kate Quinn was doing with this book, she was putting us in the perspective of underdogs, those characters being Carmelina and Leonello, because we have Leonello, who is a dwarf, people underestimate him, and then you have Carmelina, who is just simply a cook. And I really loved Leonello's story arc in this book because he quickly kind of gets wrapped up into this whole murder mystery, and he's investigating it the whole book, and he eventually winds up in the employ of Cesare Borgia, which was really cool. And then we got Carmelina. She's a cook, but she's hiding a very dark secret, and I loved her relationship and sort of friendship with Giulia Farnese. And something else I appreciated about this book, you gotta be careful when you have multiple point of view chapters with the characters speaking in the first person, because you have to make sure they have very unique voices, because when the chapter starts you need to be able to pick up on the chapter change, the character change, even though at the top of the chapter it will say this is Giulia's chapter, this is Carmelina's chapter, this is Leonello's chapter, but still you should be able to pick up on the clues within the narrative itself, judging from the characters' voices. So yeah, I appreciated Kate Quinn. She did a great job of giving the three characters very different and unique personalities and the way they would speak and talk. So yeah, when the chapter would change over and the character change would shift, you would be able to pick up on that immediately. And this is a duology, it looks like. I have not managed to pick up the second book. The book definitely ends on a sort of cliffhanger, nothing too dramatic and crazy, but still enough of a cliffhanger, making you realize, oh, there's a second book to this. So yeah, just a warning, if you want to read both books together, you might want to do that, because I wish I had realized this was 2 books, because I would have really loved to have read both books together if I'd known that before I started. But yeah, I'm definitely really excited to pick up book 2 to see where the story continues. Overall, I had a great time with this book, so incredibly well written, super fun. You know, I hate when historical fiction is kind of dull and history's not fun, you know? I mean, I know that's probably romanticizing the period by making events fun and whatnot, but still, this book, it was just so fun from start to finish. I had a really good time, some fascinating characters. So that's it for this book review. In the comments below, have you guys read this book? Do you plan on reading it? Just let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. So that's it for this book review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this book review, you may like these other book reviews. Bye, guys.